how to go from first message to phone number in 5 stages. Okay, so I'm going to break down these 3 conversations I had with real women on Hinge, and I'm going to color code them as well so you can see how these 5 stages work. Okay, so the first conversation breakdown is with Francesca. Okay, so when it comes to the 5 stages, stage 1 is basically like received or like sent. Okay, so inbound and outbound. That's basically what stage 1 is. Okay, so stage 1 by year, we're obviously outbounding, we're outreaching to Francesca, so we've liked her photo. Okay, then she matches back with us. Okay, now what we do, we need to send a preset message. Okay, an opening line, which is stage 2. Okay, so what that looks like for me is we'd have some great conversation over a few drinks. Okay, that's the line that I've sent. Next, we have stage 3, which is determine her interest level. Okay, we're assessing her response from our preset message, which is obviously in stage 2. Was it bad? Was it good? Was it blunt? Was it one-worded? Did she give us nothing to work off? Did she say a lot for us to work off? Like, that's what you need to be looking out for. Okay, so you assess her response. Okay, so in this case, is that so, Connor? What gives you that impression? Okay, so that's a positive response. Now I know she's down to play in the conversation. Now we move on to stage 4. Okay, so when it comes to stage 4, this is the hardest stage in all these 5 stages. Okay, because there is no script for it. Okay, it's so hard to obviously predict what they're going to say in this, to obviously for me to give you something. So this is where you need to digest a bunch of my conversation so you can understand and what to say and why I say it, and that's the way you're going to learn. Okay, so stage 4, you want to engage in some flirty back and forth messages. Okay, using the core 4, so fun, playful, flirtatious with a bit of teasing. That's what you need to implement in this stage now to get her invested in you and the conversation. Okay, this is the most important stage. By doing this stage correctly, it sets you up for stage 5, which is obviously shooting for the number. Okay, so you need to nail this bit. Okay, so this is how we come into stage 4 after we've got a positive response from stage 3. Okay, so 2 good looking people with good fashion sense. Be weird if we didn't get along. Oh, so you're calling yourself good looking with good style? Would you rather me call myself ugly with awful style? Depends on how big the ego is. Okay, so this is how we get into it. This is fun, playful. She's replying back to me. Okay, so she's she's invested in the conversation. No ego, just some playful confidence. We will see about that, won't we? I think I'd enjoy it though. Okay, so that's another good signal there. And we play into that now. Okay. Oh, I thought you'd might. I didn't picture you wanting to walk around with an insecure man. Okay. Fine line, isn't it, Connor? You do have great style on reflection. Okay, so a little bit of a compliment there from her. I may dance on the line but never cross it. We both do. That's why I was flirting you about. Could look pretty good together. That's what I was trying to tell you. Okay, so that's how you get her invested in you and the conversation with some flirty back and forth. It's playful. Okay, that's what this looks like. Now on my short form content, okay, I actually get a lot of hate for this. And I think I know why, because people will say, oh, dead chat, no game, and all that kind of stuff. And I just think, guys, I probably had more numbers in the last month than you've had roast dinners. Like, and that's a fact, right? So, like, honestly, like, just check my story highlights. I collect numbers every day without fail. Then when you've done stage 4 successfully, then you want to shoot for the number, okay? So how about you send over your number so we can get those drinks booked in? I think that's a pretty good idea, okay? Then numbers secured. So that's what the 5 stages looks like in action, okay? Guys, I've built these 5 stages so anyone can learn to talk out to girls like this, okay? This is how women want to be talked to. Okay, so the next conversation breakdown is with Siobhan, okay? So again, we like her photo, then she matches back with us. That's stage 1 complete, okay? Then stage 2 is the preset line, the opening message, okay? So we'd have some great conversation over a few drinks unless you're shit company, okay? So I throw a little qualification ending on that one, a little bit of a dig as well to see how she responds to it. And now what we're doing, moving on to stage 3, so we're assessing her response from that preset line, okay? So sounds good to me, and you can let me know if I'm shit company or not, okay? So boom, positive response. Now the conversation's on. Now we enter stage 4. Definitely be the judge of that. What you sipping on, this will say a lot about you. Pornstar martinis, or lately I'm obsessed with Strati Spritz, wherever the fuck that is. Never had a spritz before, but so you might have to put me on those. No matter the beverage, I can see us flirting it either way. Okay, so when it comes to talking about alcohol, like if you're not careful, it can get boring. Okay, so I had to throw this line on the end of it. Okay, so we're talking about Strati Spritz. No matter the beverage, basically what I'm trying to say, if I just said that over there, it probably would have killed the convo. Okay, or she would have hit me with a question and it would have got boring. Okay, so I had to throw this on there. No matter the beverage, I can see us flirting either way, okay? I had to throw that on there to let her know still my intentions on the app. And then she said, they're so nice, I definitely will. And that's all that matters. Okay, so that's what stage 4 looked like. Again, it's totally different from Francesca's conversation. This one's a lot shorter. But again, I don't need to continue this now because what else is there to say? You know what I mean? And it can get boring if I start asking her questions, which I certainly don't want to do. So now we move on to stage 5, which is obviously shooting for the number, okay? She's gave us positive feedback on basically meeting up with us, going out for drinks. So send me a number so we can be more efficient in our planning. Okay, my number is da-da-da. Okay, so that's a short and sweet, simple conversation using the 5 stages like I just said. And guys, that's all it is. That's why I've implemented this 5 stages, because it works so well. Okay, so the next conversation breakdown is with Rachel. So stage 1, we're liking her photo, and then she actually opens up to us first. Okay, but that's still in stage 1. Okay, so she says, "Hi, Connor." So my next response by her, on paper, it should be, "Hi, Rachel," but that's just not the way you want to come in. Okay, because they get that with every other guy, and that's why most people get ghosted. Okay, so I've come in like this. "Rachel, I've been looking for the right woman to switch over to from brunettes." Okay, so on my profile, I had a prompt that was basically, I'm taking a 30-day detox from brunettes. So I've used that as a sort of anchor. And I've said, I've been looking for the right woman to switch over to from brunettes. Okay, obviously she's blonde. Okay, so it's going to be the opposite. So that's how I've come in. So now what we do, we move on to stage 3, which is assessing her response. Okay, we're determining her interest level. Are you ready to transition? Okay, that's a positive response. Now I know she's down to play in the conversation. So we move on to stage 4. "I think so. Are you worth the transition?" This is a big life decision. Okay, so a bit of a fucking playful message there. Obviously, I'm trying to get her to qualify herself to me as well by saying, "Are you worth the transition?" Then she says, "I'm obviously going to be biased though." "Well, I like a woman who backs herself, so be biased all you need." "Well, that's settled then. I'm glad we're on both on the same page now. All I need to do is to test your company over a few drinks." Okay, so what I did with there, so like she's responding, but it's not like crazy flirty back and forth. Okay, but she's still responding, and they were quick messages, okay, as well. All right. So one thing to note, if I had just said, "I'm glad we're both on the same page now," the convo would have got crazy boring there, or it would have died, okay? Or she would have asked me a question, which again leads to a boring conversation, which I don't want to engage in, okay? So now what I do is I use this message by her, which is basically a date feeler, okay? The date feeler message, okay, this sort of message, which I'll explain now, is one of the best, well, not, it is the best message to send in a conversation with women, okay? Because it basically tests the waters and see if she's open to the idea of meeting up with you without directly saying it or being too abrupt about it, okay? And it looks like this. "All I need to do now is to test your company over a few drinks." Okay, so her next response from this will tell me everything that I need to know about whether to continue this conversation, if she's into me or not, basically. That's what that message does, okay? So all I need to do now is to test your company over a few drinks. This is all a bit easy, isn't it? Boom, that's the message I need. That's stage 4 complete. Now we move on to stage 5. I don't need to continue this conversation anymore. I just don't, okay? So this next part should be even easier. Shoot for the number, and then she gives a number, okay? You can tell she's blonde. She got a bit confused on bloody giving a number. So those are 3 conversation breakdowns there, using the 5 stages, demonstrated, color-coded, so you can properly visualize and see how they play out in action. So start using these 5 stages in your texting conversations, and you will start collecting numbers. So if you want to learn how to text and have conversations like this with women in more depth, then there is a link in the description. Check that out. Also, there's a link in there to upgrade your dating profile using my AI system. So obviously check that out if that's an interest to you. If you need any more support with this, so you want to work with me one-to-one, direct access to me, then I do offer coaching. So DM me the word system to get started with that. But other than that, I'll catch you in the next video.